Welcome, everybody, to the Detecting History podcast. And I am here today with Dan. Where there's muck, there's money. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good. Glad to have you here today. You were nominated by your friend Jake. He said, You're the
Yeah,
man
I
that I
believe
have.
so.
It was like, you got to get him on. You got to get him on. And I was like, absolutely. I'd been following you anyway. So I wanted to get you on. And so, therefore, that gives a bit of a clue to the part of the world you are. But do you want to tell us whereabouts in the UK?
So we're in Lancashire.
There you go. All the best people
Yeah,
from Lancashire, I find.
you say I think you've had a few from Lancashire so far, so I know a
I
couple.
have. Yes. Yeah, you're a friendly lot, you what would you call yourself? Lancashirians?
Lancastrian.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can tell how southern I am. I'm like, softy southerner. So yeah, you're up there in Lancashire. How is it in weather-wise today for you? Is it still cats and dogs up there?
No, it's been all right today, to be fair. Yeah,
Yeah?
I was half tempted. Well, I was half tempted to go out and just go in field somewhere and have a sit on one of the permissions, but that's all
Yeah.
right. Didn't think,
Oh,
wind noise and whatever.
yes, I'm taking up your detecting time, but it's just literally cleared here and sunny, so I'm going out tomorrow morning. So I'm just hoping it stays like that because the water table is high, and the minute you even step on the ground, the water comes up. So I'm like, oh, might be a bit of a muddy one tomorrow. So I'll still go out though. I'll still go out. I'm brave.
But, yeah.
So yes, as we said, Jake Detects nominated you. So you've obviously been detecting for quite a while, I would suspect. How did you get into
A
the
little bit.
hobby?
Well, I think I got one for my birthday. It must have been like 13 or 14 at the time. Only like a cheapy one, but it did the job. But I only ever went out like once or twice.
Yeah.
Problem is, I didn't really have any permissions to go to then, so it was a bit like. So I just left it anyway. I ended up leaving it. It got put in the cupboard for quite a few years, and then one of my mates was wandering down the river one day, and he sat down to have a lunch or whatever. And he said, as he sat on the grass, he's kind of dropped something, his phone or what, something. And he's like looking, picked it up, and he's seen like a little chain sticking out the grass. So he started pulling on it, pulling on it. Eventually, it pops out the bottom. There's a little pendant on it, so he's kind of cleaned mud off it. Right? And it was
Yeah.
Edward the Seventh half sovereign in a pendant.
No
So I was a bit like,
way.
I've got a metal detector upstairs. I'm going to have to dig that out. If you find stuff like that, just start there. Then yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually I think Jake's ended up with that in a
Yeah.
roundabout way. Yeah, I think he has. So yeah,
Brilliant.
it's been good. So I thought, we're gonna have to get a detector and we'll find some actual permissions. Like take it more seriously this time. And yeah, so that kind of
Yeah.
spurred me on a bit. And that was just before lockdown came about. So obviously
Mm.
when that hit, I just had suddenly loads of free time to get about and go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny the amount of people that have like a weird sort of circumstance like that. Like you had a detector, it was in the cupboard, and then if your mate wouldn't have like dropped their phone and found that, would you have ever
Yeah,
picked it
that's
up
it.
again?
Possibly, but then also maybe not. And it just kind of thought, well, if you're finding stuff like that, I don't know why. When I was obviously a bit younger, I guess I probably didn't have the patience for it either. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I just
That's
kind
true.
of expected to take it on the beach or something and then find a big gold hoard or whatever, and that'll be that. But it's not quite that easy.
Yeah, the reality isn't quite like that, but we have fun. So that obviously sparked your interest, and then you were like, "Wow, I'm going to give it a go." So what did you get in terms of detector as you upgraded from your original one?
Well, I actually used that one for maybe the first, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a bit longer. My pal that found the sovereign ended up buying Vanquish 440, like a second-hand one, and
Yeah.
then he eventually stopped going out, and so I bought that one off him. So he's kind of done with it as such. So I just bought that, and
Ah,
I've had that one since.
good machine, good machine. What was your original one?
Yeah,
Was it like an Amazon special, or was it an
yeah.
actual
Well, I
one
think
we'd
it was called like
recognize?
a Sebin Professional or something.
Yeah.
Um, it was all right. It was. I think it was like a single frequency, just had two dials on it,
Yeah.
volume and sensitivity, and that was it. Turn them on and fiddle with them, and off you go. But
Yeah.
it did the job, right? I think that the first or the best thing we found with that was the little silver ring. I think we had a half crown with that. This was before I even bought his detector. We were just going out on the first permission that we got, and we thought, we'll see what's about as such. Yeah, eventually
Brilliant.
I bought that off him since. So I bet it's just done me well. To be fair, I found quite a lot of good bits of it.
Yeah, you don't have to have a massively expensive detector, do you? And I mean, the
Definitely not.
Amazon specials get you good stuff as well. That's what happened with
Yeah,
me. found a William III coin with that. It's going to beep. If it's there, it's going to beep, isn't it? It's just you're going to dig
No, that's it.
a lot of iron as
Dig a lot of
well.
other stuff. Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And what about the rest of your gear, your pinpointer and your spade and all that
I
kind of
have
stuff?
yeah. See, I've not even got a pinpoint at the moment. Truth be told,
Old
I've been
school. Mm.
well. I did have one. I had one for ages. I had it was I think it was a Garrett off. It was off Amazon, just a cheap, fairly cheap Garrett anyway.
Yeah.
But that ended up packing in. I don't know. It's probably even a year to be honest, and I just kind of got used to digging without it. So
Yeah.
it's one of them. We just kind of wave the clod and break it up and wave a bit more, and I don't really mind. It's not so
Yeah.
bad. I probably could get one really, especially when it's muddy. But I'm usually on pasture, so stuff like
Oh,
that it'll usually come up in the pod as such, or in the sod when I dig that out anyway. So
yeah, that's it, isn't
it
it? Like,
can be a bit frustrating sometimes. That I'll find, I don't know, like a 2-2 pellet or something. I'll be looking for ages and ages. I think, but we try to think about an hour. But don't know. I probably should get one really, but yeah. Aside from that, I don't know. General spade. I think that used to be my granddad's. All broken, and well, I say that's just the handle, but still use
mm,
it. Still does the job. Yeah,
yeah.
just as bad. I don't
Awesome.
know, just the usual bits and bobs, a few coin pods, and take a rucksack and just chuck it all in there. I think it's a bit easier than like a side holster kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, you're right. It is really only in the really muddy when it's like soup. That's when it's good to have a pinpointer, isn't it? Because
yeah, exactly. Or the hole filling up with water faster than you can dig it out.
that's the only time you're like, yeah. But old school, yeah. I like watching the YouTube videos and the folks like yourself and just sort of, as long as you've pinpointed it with your detector at first, like you say, and you've dug the plug
Yeah,
right, you're going to find it, aren't you? Without a
that's it.
pinpointer.
Just takes a bit
Awesome.
longer sometimes, definitely.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy about detecting? What does it give for you? Why do you keep doing it? Why do you love it?
I guess it's, I don't know, the excitement. You might find something nice, really. It's
Yeah.
nice to be out. I do appreciate, it kind of makes me appreciate being out and just out and about in general a bit
Mm,
more than, but I think, yeah, it is. You just don't know you don't know what you're going to come across. So it's just a hope that you go out and you find something nice. And even if you don't, generally, if it's been a nice day, I don't know, it's just quite good. You can always see something or see a farmer and chat to him or see somebody out and have a chat with them. And
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. It is, yeah, I think it's the thrill of the chase as it is.
Exactly that. Exactly that. And no day's the same, is it? You're never going to have
No,
a similar day detecting. Like you just don't know what's going to happen. It's so
that's
much
it.
fun. Okay, so we obviously know you've been out and about with Jake, and I've been stalking your Instagram. You didn't get away with it. I stalk everybody before they come on the podcast, and I saw that you've had some cracking finds. So do you want to mention to the listeners some of your favorite finds, and then I'll let you know what I spotted on your Instagram as well.
I think my favourite find is probably the Henry VIII Testoon. That's probably my
Ooh,
best find, I think. But it is
yeah.
broken, but it's still they're all there. All the pieces are there, but
Yes.
it is there. And then in a close second will be my only gold that I found, which is a little Victorian gold ring,
Yes.
little 9 carat. But it's got some nice design on it, so it's quite pleased with it. And it fits. I can wear it on my pinky fingers, so I wear it out every now and again to club meetings and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, show it off.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. They're like, oh, what have you found? Oh, I found this actually, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Really good. That's one of the items I spotted, and it's got a lovely design on it. And then, of course, I did spot that you did do a bit of a shadow gold dance for us, so I spotted
Yeah,
that as well.
that was quite funny actually. I was in middle of field and I just did a bit of a jig and I kind of looked up towards the road and there's a guy putting his dry stone wall up and he's like staring at me real funny. So I thought I'm gonna have to go over and speak to him and tell him I'm not just having a little jig in the field, like that's about something that's worth dancing about. So
He'd been
yeah,
looking
it's
at you
quite funny
going,
that.
that guy just loves life.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it does. That'd be good.
Yes, but it was very good. You got some moves, your shadow dancing. So I was like, yeah, it's very good. So that's always my follow-up question. And surprisingly, a lot of people are just so shocked to have found gold, they forget to do the gold dance. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I
you've
was sat down for a bit first. Yeah, I had a breathe. I just sat there looking at it in whole. I thought that can't be right.
yeah,
No, it
yeah.
was.
And with it being Victorian and that, did it have all the markings inside so you could look up the
Yeah,
maker's
yeah, I've
mark and all that
actually.
stuff? Yeah.
It'd be in my drawer. I'll have to dig it out at some point. I'm not just rooting for a video, so It is about that. I've not lost it. I know it's in there. Just
No, you can show it
I'll dig
off
it
another
out.
time.
That's it. You have to go on to Instagram and have a look if you want to see it.
Well, this is it, right? And I was going to mention your Instagram. You do have, so it's Where There's Muck, There's Money, and it's metal detecting Northwest England, and you do have 2,214,000 followers from today. Didn't you know?
It's slowly climbing.
It's slowly climbing. Do you have a
Yeah.
TikTok or a Facebook or anything as well?
No, I've just got my Instagram really. No,
Good for
I don't
you.
tend to do so much. It's one of them, more of a way to record, the finds for me and kind of see when I found stuff, and I'll just have a flick back through and be like, oh yeah,
Remember that?
that was up there. Or if it was like a particular field, I'd be like, oh, I've not been in that one in a while, and I found this in there, so I'll get back in there.
Yeah, yeah.
What
And
else? So,
aid memoir.
yeah.
That's what a lot of people do, yeah. And I don't blame you. It's tricky with the podcast having all the various different social medias. I'm like, how do I use this one again? Especially TikTok. Oh my goodness. So yes, that is very cool. And I noted also that amazing like eyeball ring that you found, the silver
Oh
ring.
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that actually came off one of Jake's permissions,
Oh,
so
I
it
bet
was a
you
bit.
were sore about
Well, he'd
that.
already been out for a few hours because I was still at work and he'd finished. He'd gone up there. He said, "Oh, I'm up there. I'm up here if you fancy it." I said, "I'll go on. I'll come up for a bit." And there's a footpath next to it on the side of the river.
Mm.
And I said to him, "Oh, have you been up and down the footpath?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. I've been up and down. I've checked it. I've been up both ways. There's nothing there. Nothing else there." I was like, "All right, no worries." I was like, "I'm gonna head up there anyway." So I took like a step or two to the side of the path and started walking. And about 3 or 4 steps in, I had a really big signal. I was like, thought you said you've been up here." He's like, "I have. There's nothing there." I was like, "All right." Fair enough. So I ended up digging it out, and I was like, just looking at me, I had just the eyeball bit. That's really weird. I was like, "I ever found a fake eye or something like that?" Yeah, I ended up cleaning it off, and yeah, it was a full ring, like a silver ring. So I was chuffed for
Yeah.
that. But probably one of the weirder things I found actually. It's
Yeah. That leads into it. So what was it in the end? Did you even find a story on that, or did it have any
I
markings
think
or?
it was it did have the got the box. Most of it,
Ooh,
but I did have.
an exclusive
Yeah,
listeners and YouTube
we'll
watchers.
have a
Ooh,
little look. You can see
wow.
it.
See, that is just
Oh,
so like
quite
an
a big ring.
eyeball. Yeah, glass eye.
It looks like, yeah, I'm not sure what it's made of exactly, but probably plastic
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, it's got the 925 stamped in there. Um, it's got L dash one, so I'm not sure if that's a size or a maker's mark.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a couple of hallmarks in there as well, but it is broken on the back, so I'm guessing that's why it's slipped off someone's finger. I
Yeah.
was quite tough with that. It did make, it made the day, that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's mine. That should be mine. So I did ask if you've been up the footpath, but
There you
just how it
go.
goes sometimes. Yeah.
Well, we always say a feels never done, is it? So yeah,
No,
good for you.
definitely not.
Double checking, double checking. So yeah, in terms of weirdest finds, then do you think that's the weirdest, or have you got something else a bit
Well,
freaky?
nothing like freaky like that. It's probably one of the weirder things I found. A bit of a random one. I did find like a big lump of lead. It was about 16 kilos, so it was
Whoa.
fairly. Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
fair size, like
gosh.
fair chunk. I can't remember the dimensions, but it was just just a block of lead. Yeah, nothing ever came of it though. No one could say what it was or when it was from, or I don't know. I was
That's mad.
asking a lot of people, but yeah, no one seemed to know. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty interesting one. That was like probably about a foot and a half deep as well, so it sounded good. But that was with
Wow.
a cheap detector as well, my little cheapy thing. But I'm just get something that size, it's going to make a sound.
I was gonna say that'd blow your ears off, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it was loud. Like,
Did it end up down the scrappy in the end?
no, not just yet. I've actually got like it's basically scrap. Yeah, it's basically in
Okay.
my backyard. But the rest of
Yeah.
it's scrap. Loads of
Yeah.
iron and copper pipes, and it is sorted to some degree, but
Yeah.
it is all still there. Probably will have to go and scrap it and weigh it in at some point, but I'll probably have a few quid in scrap. So
Yeah,
happy with that.
absolutely. That'll be a night down the pub, that's for sure.
Maybe,
Six,
yeah.
16 kilos,
Maybe
blimey.
I'll buy a pinpointer with it.
Hey, there you go. See, detecting just gives back. So, in terms of history, are you a fan of history in all the eras anyway, because of your detecting? Do you have a favorite history era?
Um, it's a bit of a tough one, really. I'm quite keen on like the Roman things, but we never really find much around here. So I'd like to find some more, but I think probably Tudor. I'm quite, I find a lot of Tudor stuff, so I know a
Yeah.
fair bit. A few. Well, I say a fair bit, probably not as much as half as many people watching or listening, but I like to think I know a bit about the Tudor, and it's quite. I don't know. I do tend to quite like that area.
Mm. Yeah, and with the Henry VIII as well. But Tudor period is fascinating, isn't it? Because you've got him and all his wives, and then obviously you've got Elizabeth and the Mary situation, and it's
Yeah,
just
that's it.
there's
So,
so much, and it's so documented as well. You can really get into it. I love that too. And yeah, you're right about the Roman. Do you ever come down this way and take part in the rallies and stuff? And
um, I think the furthest down we've been, we went to the Detectival at the end of last year. No, the start of last year. Sorry, it
yeah,
was like the Spring Detectival.
yeah,
Um, but we didn't really find the right lot. A lot of people were saying the same, but as I say, it's luck of the draw, isn't it? You might travel that far, but it doesn't mean you're gonna necessarily find anything. But it was
yeah.
good though. We went to got to meet a lot of people that we wouldn't have met otherwise, and
Mm,
mingled around with everyone. It was quite good. But I
yeah.
think other than that, I think the furthest we've been was probably over towards York, where about an hour and a half drive. But
Nice.
didn't find so much then either. But it's like I say, it's still one of them. It's just one of them. You never know.
It's weird, isn't it? You can travel to all these areas and yeah, not have any luck. And then you might just be out in your garden again, which I'm sure you've probably done a million times. And then all of a sudden you find something, you'd be like, where did that come from? And it's just been sat
Right.
there and you hadn't gone over it. Yeah, it's always the
That's
way.
it.
Always the way. Okay, so we're going to talk about now permissions. Now, a lot of beginners in the hobby, and obviously a lot of people picked it up over the pandemic and all that stuff. Have you got any hints and tips on how people should try and get permissions?
Um, I guess just be quite straightforward with people. If you know anyone, friends and family are obviously a good start to go to because likely if you've got some kind of reference or at least, if they know that they can ring someone up if you've made a bit of a mess and tell them, right, get him told, sort him out, then that is a good place to start. But been fortunate enough to one of my commissions that I'd started on. Eventually they've ended up offering me a job on the farm basically. So obviously they've got
Wow.
a lot of farmer friends and bits and bats. So I've been working there for about 18 months now.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so that's helped a bit. I've definitely got a few commissions through, friends and families of the owners at the farm and such. So that's quite a good one. Yeah, if you want a few commissions and you're stuck for it, just get a job on a farm. Yeah.
That's a
Then you
top
never
tip.
know, meet loads of them. We'll meet loads of people that way then. But
Yeah.
like you said, that's mostly just from having that reference. Then, if they know, oh,
Mm,
you're working for so and so, and
yeah.
they can always get back to you if they need to about whatever. So it's
Yeah.
just quite good. But other than that, I'd say just kind of just get out there and go and ask. If you
Yeah.
see someone out in the fields or on a quad, just try and wave them down and. What are you up to? Don't suppose and just be honest about it. They can only say no, can't they?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And if you yourself, I think people sort of spot it, don't they? If you're trying to be like too prim and proper, just be yourself. But I love that top tip about getting a job on a farm. That's brilliant. Or I always say, go to your local farm shop and make friends with them there. And then that's another way to ask, isn't it? And just getting
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
definitely. That's
Some
it,
people,
and making yourself known a bit, and
yeah,
yeah,
in your local community. Some people feel a
I
bit
think they get to
intimidated.
see. Yeah, but I know, like, well, it's good. I think they get to see that kind of this idea that isn't just like, oh, let me on your land, I need to look for treasure type thing.
Yeah,
They get to know you as a person, and that's just what you're into, like as a hobby. So yeah,
yeah,
definitely,
that's it.
definitely get the foot in the door.
Yeah. And then once you do, make sure you treat your farmer right with the odd bit of the odd bottle of scotch or whatever. Keep
Yeah,
them
that's some free
happy.
labour. That started me. I found a few bits, and I was ready to pay him his dues for him, and he was like, "Oh no, no, it's all right, don't worry." And then I said, "Oh, do you fancy coming to give us a day? Do us a day of work on the farm?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, well, I'll do that for you instead of paying you your half as such." And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine, then no problem." So a
Yeah.
few more of them came down, and yeah, that's it. Next thing, I'm working there. So
Brilliant. So
good.
it's
Yeah,
really
that's
led.
really good actually. Yeah,
Yeah. You're detecting led all the way now to your job, which is fantastic. And that's the dream, right? I'm chained to a desk 9 till 5. So I'd love to be able to go and work on a farm and be in the fresh air all day, every day. That would be lovely. Have you had any issues when you've been out and about detecting, apart from people seeing you do your gold dance?
Um, not particularly any like issues. I've had a few people ask if if you've got permission to be on there,
Hmm.
which is a bit of a strange one. Because sometimes they don't even know who the owner of the land is. So
Yeah.
it's a bit like, well, who are you going to tell if I didn't? But other than that, like you don't tend to come across that many people that are that way inclined. But I think the only issue I've had is I did find an unexploded mortar, and we weren't sure if it was a practice round or if it was a live round, but
Mm.
we rang it in anyway. Ended up ringing it in, told the farmers and whatnot, got the police out to come deal with it.
Yeah.
But it was a bank holiday Sunday, and then because of where it was in the field, it was too close to like there's some gas pipes. So they got
Oh.
the National Grid out to come out, and then the guy, he turned up and he was like, "Bloody hell, I didn't need this on Sunday off," And I was like, "Sorry, mate, that's not every day you find a bomb, is it?" So, yeah, that's probably the biggest issue that we've had. But they ended up just taking that away, and that
Mm.
was that. Off we went. But I don't go back in that field just in case anymore. So
Well, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Tell us about that then. How did you sort of realize what you had in front of you? Did you go,
Well,
I'm guessing you went
I've
down.
been so yeah, I've been finding a few bits up there because I knew there was an old like, I think it was a World War Two like training camp up that way,
Mm.
and I found a few. I think I found a Lancashire's own regiment cap badge and quite a lot of bullets and like military buttons and things like that. And then I found a few of the like mortar fins, and they're
Mm.
quite distinctive things. So I guess but it was usually just find one or the other, just bits of it or part of it, and I thought, oh, it's pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
eventually I came and got a really big signal. I was like, oh, that sounds massive, that. So I started digging and I dug the clod out, and then in the top you could just see the fins sticking out. And usually
Oh,
they'd just be on their own or falling over or crusted, and they weren't like they didn't seem too broken up anyway.
yeah.
I've kind of like just kind of move the soil around underneath where it kind of screws on, and the screw was still there, and it just like maybe the top centimeter or so of where it turned into like the cylindrical shape was just
Mm.
sticking like down into the soil, and I was like, I probably don't want to keep digging that just in case it is because it might have just been half of it, but I was like, I probably don't want to just keep messing with that in case, and so I
Yeah.
rang it and rang them up, and they came and kind of took it out, and they did say that it was like a complete but whether it was a practice one or if it was live, it presumably practice.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, it was still a risk that it might go off if it hadn't have gone off. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
they just came and took that away. But yeah, I kind of recognised it just from the fins because it's quite a distinctive shape. But and I
Yeah.
thought, well, it looks to be more than the usual bits I find, so I don't want to keep prodding with it and messing about with it because you never know. But
If in doubt, phone it through. That's for
yeah,
sure,
well,
isn't
that
it?
was it. They did say that to me. They did. They said, despite what the National Grid man says, you did the right thing by calling it in.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to go bang and you don't want to have it on your conscience if you kind of left it there and then it went bang later on, you know what I mean? It's good
yeah,
to get it
yeah.
out. Absolutely. Yeah,
Flying
that and
sheets and whatnot.
rounds and all that kind of stuff, any kind of live bullets and all that, you got to take them in and get them disposed of properly, haven't you? That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's it. Part of being responsible with it, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Absolutely. Cool. So that's a good one. And don't think many people have found too many bits and pieces like that. I remember I saw, I don't know who it was, but it was a lady detectorist and she had like a little girl with her. And they had the same thing. It was like a mortar, but they'd actually got it out. And the little girl was like, I think you need to call the police. I think you need to call the police. And the mum was like, oh no.
The hassle.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah. Cool. Oh, that's good. So, okay, what about have you got any top tips with your permissions and research and stuff? How deep do you go into the hobby? Do you like to go on the LiDAR and all stuff like that?
I do, but I think the main thing is getting the permission first, because there's been a few times where I've researched, for hours and hours on certain places, but that's going to be a really good field. And you
Mm,
eventually go and try and get permission, and they're just like, sorry, we can't do it.
mm,
We're not having it. And you think, oh, well, that might be a bit of a waste. So,
mm.
well, if we've got a permission somewhere, I'll be on like the side by side maps on the National Scottish Library page,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
And then the Archie website, that's quite good. It's got all the usual, like the LiDAR and the finds that have been, found in the local area and bits. And then there's the archaeological maps from historic England, which is
yeah.
quite good. It kind of breaks down all the fields, and it has. I think Jake mentioned it actually. It has all the just different markings for, say, like I don't know, field boundaries and like plough heads and just certain bits. It'll give you a rough date, whether it's medieval, post-medieval, even modern. It'll go all the way up. Or if it's like a World War II bit, it'll have that on there. So they're
Mm.
always quite good tools. But I think generally you can't. You can only have a look at so much before you need to go out and see what you can actually find on there. So there's no saying it's not been ploughed and ploughed and ploughed and it's all gone. Or in the
Yeah.
opposite, where it's boggy now, and you turn up and think, "Oh, this field's a bog. I can't really, so you're not going to maybe not find as much, or you don't want to dig in certain places that you might have been researching." So I think it's a
Yeah.
bit of both. I think you should, have a look, get your permission first, and even just go in and having a look at like different markings in the field and see, dips and little bumps, or um, if it's like old ploughed with a
Yeah.
trough. So yeah, I think
Y-
I don't know. A lot of it is just go out and have a look at the field and see roughly. If I was a old settler, where would I like to sit, or where would I put an outhouse, or where would I put my crops in this field, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, there are some good resources out there for doing that kind of research. But I do find that I think the best research is just getting out and having a look what's there.
Yeah, exactly. Because if no one's been there before, and it's previous to the sort of 1880s, one of the oldest maps I've got around my way, you just don't know what's been there, do you? Unless someone's
Yeah.
been there before and found Roman stuff or whatever. So it's up to us to go out and find it. That's the fun bit, isn't it? You just never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, saying that actually, there's a Roman quernstone on the main permission, the local permission, but I've never
Oh,
found anything Roman there. Never.
oh,
I've been on there for like a good 3 or 4 years, and I've
yeah.
never not one piece of Romans come off there that I can definitely say is Roman. But a lot
Oh,
of lead,
wow.
but there's no
Yeah.
no telling with most of that. They're not
Oh,
even shaped leather out, just bits. So it was a bit. I'm not sure if saying they were wrong, but I've not found anything Roman up there. So even like that research side of it, you might think, oh yeah, there's going to be Roman hotspot. There's going to be loads of stuff around that Quernstone. That's got to be a farm or a homestead or something.
mm.
But yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Because
But it's just
you never know if someone in history, in like Victorian era, moved that stone to there.
yeah,
You just
that's
don't know,
true.
do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, that's a nice stone. That'll look good in the dry stone wall. We'll take that with us. But that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it could have been something like that. That's a good point.
Could
That
have
not really
been.
cost much, to be fair. So
Or
still
it's
got
all
that hope.
sat in a pot underground in a corner of a field somewhere for you to
Yeah, it's
discover.
very possible. Yeah, there could be a big Roman horde up there. Like everything is just into one field.
In
I
one
might
place.
just not walked across it yet. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's it. You never know. You never know. Let's talk bucket listers now. Now, you've obviously found a lot of cool stuff. Um, but what's on your bucket list, your own personal bucket list?
I'd like a silver denari,
Yeah,
any kind. I'd be really, really quite happy with something like that.
yeah,
Probably a Roman brooch as well, and right at the top, probably a Bronze Age spearhead. That's probably my top bucket list find. Something
that
like that.
is
I
so
know
cool.
it's always an axe or a spearhead, but as rare as they all are, I feel like you see more axes come up than spearheads. So I
Yes,
don't know.
I was going to say the same thing, exactly the same thing. You see a lot of the axe heads, don't you? But not so much of the spearheads. So,
It's not to take away from finding an axe head. I'd probably still be sat there for half an hour staring at it and all like unbelievable, kind of thing. But yeah, I think a spearhead would be at the top for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would look great, wouldn't it, in your finds cabinet when you set it up?
Yeah, definitely would. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Okay, so we've got to the section now where we talk about the ultimate bucket list, the list. So we're on season 2 now. So everything before is forgotten. So can you choose an item for me for the listeners? An item they need to have on their own personal bucket list. And it can be something outrageous, but I'm trying to keep it more kind of things that people actually are likely to find this season. So what have you got for us?
Ooh. It might just have to be one of those two, to be fair.
Yeah,
I just, I was thinking about it. I wouldn't mind a godless florin, like a Victoria godless florin. That'll be up
ooh.
there. Or even just a Gothic florin. That'll be either of
Mm,
those two. I think they're pretty great shouts, to be honest. I haven't been not found one of them yet. So, but
nice.
I think I'm gonna have to say the silver denari.
Silver Denari. Ah,
Yeah, I
nice.
think that should
Very
be on
good.
on everyone's bucket list.
Yeah.
A nice silver Roman coin that you can just be in awe of.
Yes, it's on my bucket list for sure. Brilliant. We will add that to the ultimate bucket list. And yeah, I think that's achievable, I reckon, if you come
Yeah,
down south.
exactly. You can get that one ticked off, and you can
Yeah,
add some more rarer finds or maybe more out there finds to it.
exactly. Cool. So, anything else that you've got going on at the minute? Are you planning to go to any of the festivals this year?
I probably will. I'm not too sure which. Me and Jake have been talking about going to a couple.
Yeah.
But it's probably we're hoping to do the Rodney Cook Memorial.
Mm.
And we've been talking about doing Detectable, but we're not too sure. We can't just base it on the previous time that we went. But
Yes.
probably go and do Rodney Cook, and if any of us come up in the meantime that we can both get to, we'll probably go and do a few. So
Yeah.
we'll be about there. But other than
Good.
that, I'll probably be the club digs and local permissions, I think.
Yeah. Do you try and get out every week?
Yeah, I tend to. Usually I've got Wednesdays free or Wednesday mornings and the weekends and some part of the weekends anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, I usually try and get out once or twice a week, but there's always other bits to be doing, and if they need doing, they'll get done. But
Yeah. Exactly.
definitely try to
Exactly.
get out. Make a point to get out at least once. So
Yeah, it's good for you, isn't it? It clears your mind. Definitely. Mindfulness. Right. Very important question. What's your favorite music? What do you listen to when you're driving to a dig?
um, all sorts. And I could probably pull my Spotify up now and start scrolling for ages, and it's probably everything from there, like some 80s stuff. Quite like a lot of 80s stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so probably listen to maybe Benny King at one or Louis Armstrong or something, and then next play on the skip would be something like I don't know Biggie Smalls or Eminem or Ice
Yeah.
Cube or something, something like. It's a big variety of songs really, and all kinds of music. But it depends what we're feeling on the day because there's always something you can put the mood on. And if we're going out digging, we might just put the line of Best Fit on by Johnny Flynn. So
Yeah.
that's a classic detective
Cool.
tune, isn't it? So stick that
Yeah.
on for at least once. And maybe get some fingers crossed on the way there.
A bit of luck with some Johnny Flynn. I love that. Nice eclectic taste. And then, yeah, you're right. Whatever your mood is, you might need something that picks you up a bit, or you might
Yeah,
need
that's
something
it.
just to calm you down a bit if you're too excited. I love that. I love that. I love that. Well, brilliant, Dan. Thank you so much. Where there's muck, there's money. I'm really looking forward to seeing you, hopefully, at Rodney Cook if I get a ticket. Tickets coming out soon. I think we've all
Yeah,
set
I was just
our
saying
alarm
to Dick about
clocks.
that. We do need to keep an eye on it. We have to be straight on to that.
Yes, exactly,
It's supposed to be a
exactly.
really good event, so I'd like to
Yes,
go.
all for a good cause as well. So, yes, it's kind of like the Glastonbury of detecting, dear listeners. If you haven't heard of it before, go and look it up. And the tickets are being released at the end of February. Don't miss out. But yeah, Dan, thanks so much. Really lovely to get to know you. And yeah, hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you later.